Hey everybody, welcome to another installment of Kawabanga ASMR. And for today's edition, we have a personal short story that I wrote. Luke, I am your father. I'm just playing. So let's start off. Marcus sat by his computer pondering what sort of stories he would conjure so he can read them to his viewers. He thought long and hard about various topics ranging from necromancy, philosophy, and even about ants. Speaking of the little critters, he noticed one crawling by his toes. He thought, cracking a smile. About the irony of the situation, he stopped what he was doing and squatted down real low to observe his little friend closer. The tiny creature, blind to the environment, relied heavily on the pheromones and the senses of taste and smell. The little ant walked and paced confidently around a dead fly. The fly's legs were frozen in animation and flexed inward as rigor mortis stiffened its muscles. Marcus waved off the tiny fly to the side. Shoo! And watched as the ant followed the direction of the fly and continued to mark the location by walking in circles and in circles and in circles around it. Finally, after 5 minutes of watching the strange behavior, Marcus decided he needed to get back to typing. He wrote and then read aloud, "Little creatures of tiny legs and tiny antennas are crawling all around me." He started strong, but mind went blank after. So he returned to observing his little friends some more. Except now there were three. He thought pensively. I wonder where they're coming from. He looked around and saw that by the back wall a little ant hole had formed, and coming in and out of the wall was a brigade of ants, various sizes, working harmoniously, building and defending their abode and feeding the ferocious appetite of the queen. Eureka! He said aloud. The idea popped in his mind as he thought of exploring the ant colony further and writing about it. So he went to the drawer and got himself a magnifying glass. He took pen and pad and sat beside the finger-sized diameter of a hole that was dug into the wall and watched the ants patiently. He saw that they formed clear single-file lines and followed the larger ants in and out in orderly fashion. And strange enough, by the wall sat what he did not notice before. But, looking a little closer, he noticed a fingernail. Curious indeed, thought Marcus. And so he picked up the nail and turned it around. And to his shock, it was a woman's nail. He knew this because it was painted green. He turned the nail around and threw it immediately. Ew. On the underbelly of the nail bed, there was blood. Human blood. His heart froze. He quickly got up, put the belongings to the side, and went closer to the ant hole, just inspecting it and seeing what was going on. His eyes was in line with where the ants were crawling in and out of, and to his surprise, a strange odor of necrosis wafted from the opening. Usually, he never jumped to conclusions. He went to the drawer, took out a screwdriver, and stuck the metal in the hole in the wall. He pulled out the tool, and it was covered in dry, red, brownish material that looked like blood, and he felt his stomach drop as his throat closed with anxiety and fear. He went to the garage, picked up a hammer, and began to hammer away at the wall, taking down the wall chip by chip by chip. He slowly exposed the body that lay buried beneath his broken nose, for he couldn't smell it, but now the strong odor was much more than his stomach could take. So he started to heave and threw up. Finally, after a few seconds of clearing out his intestines, he went back to the hole and explored the body that lay buried beneath. Wrapped from head to toe was that body of a woman, and the only part exposed was where the bag had been ripped open by rats, as a bony, decomposing finger lay exposed, seeing sunlight God knows how long. He was about to call the police when he had the sudden realization that after all this time missing, she wasn't really missing, but murdered. His lovely sister, whom was gone for the past 6 months and nowhere to be found, lay buried underneath his nose and in the walls of his room. Marcus knew immediately who had done it, but he didn't dare call the police. Instead, he waited and waited patiently for Hermel, his sister's boyfriend, whom he called his best friend. Hermel put his lunchbox down. "Hey, Marcus, what's going on, man? How are you?" he said aloud. He asked and looked right and then looked left. While looking left, he didn't pay attention to the right side as a dull, dense hammer came flush across his temple. The rage of the brother and the weight of the hammer struck the murderous bastard so hard that sent brains and blood across the walls. After that day, Marcus never saw his mother or father again, nor his room or old life, for he ran and ran. Only thing he took was clothes, money, a passport, and his mother's favorite necklace, a reminder that the life of which he used to have. And that, my friends, is where I leave you. For an ant is but a piece of a puzzle, and like an ant in our story, we too are ants in the cacophony of moving parts and hidden dangers we call life. So be aware, stay safe, and remember, whichever thread of life you pull, it will be bound to another link of the chain we call fate. Thank you, and have a wonderful night. check it out. I have myself 2 swords, and I cannot wait for the apocalypse. I'm just joking. I would buy a gun at that point, but these things are super cool and very sharp. Well, I hope everyone's doing okay, and that your day is going well. Excuse me. I am ready for the 4th of July. It's going to be hopefully relaxing, and I get to surf a little bit tomorrow. It's supposed to be some decent waves, they said. So I'm excited for it. I got a new board, and I'll show you on the next installment. It's sick. It's a single fin 6.1 high volume. Well, moderate volume, not too high, not too big. And great for days like tomorrow, like today, for the summer swells. And then winter comes around, and then we take out the chargers, the smaller, shorter boards that they rip more. And honestly, I'm not very good. I'm learning a lot, but I can hold my own. And there's a very good surfers out there, and these guys are amazing. They really are. And I like to watch them surf and learn a few things from them. So you can always learn something from something else and from somebody else. And remember, keep your mind open, your eyes sharp, and your heart pure.